All right, y'all. So today we did function word problems, and then we started talking about appropriate domain and range. All right, and remember I did tell you that domain and range are some of the more confusing problems that we're going to do. Okay, um, because they're just kind of more thinking than calculating. Okay. All right. So here we go. We're going to start first with these function word problems, and I talked about not looking at the word problem as a whole, but picking out the things that we need. So obviously we need our equation, and this first equation is John. That's John's earnings. And then the next equation, okay, that's Chris's earnings. And then down here at the bottom, we're going to see the word. They want us to write a function h of x using the difference in John and Chris. So h of x is going to be the difference in John and Chris. Okay, so what we're going to do with that is we're going to start by distributing our negative sign, and that's why it's important that you put these in parentheses. Okay, so that's going to make that a negative 6.5x and a negative 78. So now when we combine like terms, that's going to give us 2.25x, and then 52 minus 78 is negative 26. So our difference is 2.25x minus 26. Okay, so again, you're literally just typing in 8.75 minus 6.5. That's where I got 2.25, and 52 minus 78. And that'll give me the 26, okay? All right, now, one of the things that we talked about is just cost, revenue, and profit. Remember, profit is the money that's left over after you take what you brought in, which is our revenue, and subtract our cost. So what we need to learn here is profit equals revenue minus cost. Okay, in other words, we talked about how if it cost me $25,000 to make a vehicle and I sold it for $40,000, my profit is going to be the difference there, which is $15,000. How much I charge is my revenue, how much I paid for it is my cost. Okay, me leaving me with a profit of 15,000. That's what we talked about in class. Okay. All right. So up here, again, what do we need to know? We know the cost equation, we know the revenue equation, and they want us to find our profit equation. So knowing profit equals revenue minus cost, I'm just going to plug these in. Revenue is 14x. Cost is 10x plus 750. So again, we've got to distribute that negative, which is going to give me a profit equation of 4x minus 750. Okay. All right. So keep going. Next one, read through the problem and see what's important. F of x is John again. G of x is Sam, and they want to know how much more money John will have than Sam. Okay, so again, we're going to subtract. So we're going to say John minus Sam would be 3x plus 2. All right. Same thing here. Two more of these, okay? They want to know profit. So profit is equal to revenue minus cost. Minus 12x and minus 800 gives me 3x plus 100 is my profit equation. Okay. All right. Same thing down here. Again, profit is going to equal the revenue, which in this situation is 8x minus the cost, and you have to distribute your negative. So that's pretty straightforward, but you have to remember that profit is revenue minus cost. Okay. All right, now we start into domain and range. Okay, so Frank has already sold $510 worth of tickets to the Oyster Roast. He has 5 tickets left to sell at $30 per ticket. So we know that this is important. The 5 tickets is going to be important, and they're $30 per ticket. So remember with the per, so we're going to write an equation first because it says that. So remember with the per, that's going to be our slope. So right now we have $510, and we're going to add to that $30 per ticket. So that's our equation. Now, domain, remember, is our X values. X here is representing the number of tickets. Okay. So for domain, that's our X, that's our number of tickets. We have 5 left to sell. So we talked, okay, we can sell from 0 up until 5, and that's how we write that. But we have to tell them what kind of numbers. If I just say X is between 0 and 5, that could be 1.2, it could be 3.75, it could be anything like that. And that's not what we have. We only have whole numbers or integers. Integers are your whole numbers. They do include negatives, but we've told it can only be between 0 and 5, so that does not include negatives. All right, then for our range, you're just going to plug these in. So I'm going to do that over here real quick. We're going to plug in both of our domain numbers. So 5, 10, 30 times 0 and 5, 10, 30 times 5. That still gives me the 5, 10. So that's my first number. Range is our Y's. And then if I do 5, 10 plus 150, that's going to take me to 660. So that's the possibility for our range. It can be as low as 510 if we didn't sell any, as high as 660 if we sold all 5. All right. The settings on a space heater are the whole numbers from 0 to 5. The total number of watts used, so our total, is 750 times the setting number. So that's 750x. They just told you for your domain, that's the settings from 0 to 5. And it said in the problem that it's whole numbers. And then for our range, we're going to plug in that. So that's 750 times 0, which we know if y'all don't turn it on, it's 0. And then 750 times 5, which gives me, I think it's 3750. Yep, 3750. Okay. All right, a mail order company charges $5 per order plus $2 per item in the order. Okay, so here's our equation. $5 per order. So $5 if you place an order plus $2 per item. Up to 10 items. So our maximum is 10. So this is part of our domain. Our domain is going to be from 1 to 10. And the reason I didn't choose 0 here is because they're not going to mail you anything or charge you anything if you didn't order anything. So 0 doesn't make sense in the problem. And then again, for our range, we would plug in 1. So if I plug in 1 right here, 2 times 1 is 2, plus 5 is 7. And if I plug in all 10 items, that's going to be 20 plus 5 is 25. Okay. All right, a car can travel 19 miles on a gallon of gas and it has a 15-gallon gas tank. So G is the number of gallons, so that's our X. Our gallons is our X that car has in its tank. The function 19G means 19 times however many gallons we have gives the distance in miles that the car can travel. What are the reasonable values for the domain and the range? All right, so domain is our G. If it's a 15-gallon gas tank, it can have anywhere from 0 to 15. And that is not integers, y'all. You can have partial gallons of gas. And then our range would be if you don't have any gas in, you're not going to go any miles. And then if you had a maximum of 15 gallons, 19 times 15 gives me 285 miles. Okay. All right. The Key Club has a case of 500 candy bars they purchased for $200. So they gave us the equation already. The profit equals this is our revenue, $1.50, and this is our cost. So the $1.50 is the charge that we're going to give per candy bar. Then our domain is our X, which is our 500 candy bars that we have. So our domain is from 0 to 500. And again, that's going to be integers or whole numbers, something like that, that we know that they are not including decimals and fractions in there. All right, the library purchased a case of 1,000 pencils for $50. They will sell the pencils for 25 cents each. So write the equation. So f of x is going to be, profit, sorry, p of x. Our revenue is 25 cents a piece minus the $50 we paid. Our domain, if there's 1,000 pencils, is from 0 to 1,000. And again, that's our integers. And if they sell 1,000, we just plug in 1,000 into our equation. And they would make $200 profit. Okay. All right, so now we start the part that kind of had some multiple choice in it, and this is what it would be on your EOC. It's going to be multiple choice. There's no really way for you to fill these in on your own. So it would either be like a drag and drop or, pick yours, things like that. Okay. So E of S represents the store's earnings. So this is our earnings. S is our number of sales. And they just want to know what the appropriate domain would be. Well, domain is our number of sales. So obviously our sales have to be positive, which means greater than or equal to 0. But nothing tells me that I can have a limited number of sales. So nothing tells me I can only go up to 20 or only go up to 100. Nothing tells me I have to sell more than 100. So our answer is D. That's just that we have to make a positive number of sales or equal to 0. All right. they gave us our equation here, represents the profit that the band will make from selling Boston butts, where X is the number of Boston butts that they sell. They have 250 Boston butts to cook and sell. What is our domain? Well, if there are 250, obviously our domain is from 0 to 250. And again, that is integers. You can't sell part of one. Okay. All right. So here's where we kind of get thinking we understand what we're doing, and we just jump right here and we see this 270 and we think, oh, the answer must be C because that's what we've been doing all day. But read carefully. F of x equals 3x represents the amount of water in quarts in a bucket after x seconds. So x is our seconds, and f of x is the amount of water. So when it says if you want to fill a 270 quart bucket, that's going to go in for your f of x. And we're going to have to find our x, y'all. So 90 is our x. So we're going to start at 0 and go up to 90. Okay, so we're doing the same thing down here. So the 17 to 80, once you read through this, you need to read through it, y'all. You've got an equation. It tells you that X is the minutes. The other part is the gallons. So the 17 to 80 goes in for F of X, and we're going to divide by 6, which is going to give us that 2,880 number. So if the pool is already full, it doesn't take us any time. And then if it's empty, it's going to take us 2,880 minutes. Okay. All right, a few more. Same thing here. We're doing the exact same thing. 25s is your quarts. So it's going to be 25 equals 1.25x. So x is 20. So from 0 to 20. All of these are the same process once you get to here, y'all. That's why I'm kind of going through them a little fast. Equation, 11,250 is our gallons. So that gave me 45, which is going to make our answer C. All right, and again, this one's not asking you to solve anything. It says, what's an appropriate domain? X is our domain, and X is the number of toys. It has to be positive. You can't have any fractions. Okay, you don't sell a fractional part of a toy. So it's not going to be all real numbers. All real numbers include positive, negatives, and fractions. Even though it says greater than 0, that would just be positive, but it still includes fractions. All integers includes positives and negatives. It has to be greater than 0. So because I knew it had to be greater than 0, I would have been down to B and D to begin with. And then integers versus real numbers. Real numbers is any number that y'all know exists. All right, so I did not do the student practices in class today, so I'm also not going to do them here on your notes. But we will spend some more time doing these throughout the year. Okay? Y'all have a good evening.